Hello, beautiful. Welcome to this week's live group coaching. It is November 1st. I'm trying to skip ahead to the 24th. Welcome. And as you guys know, if no one can make it to the live group sessions, I go on a little rant, and I have a perfect one for you guys today. I actually meant to record it last week, but time got away from me. So here I am, and which is perfect because if no one shows up today, at least you guys get some good content. And remember, if you know you can't make it to the live group coachings, but you have specific questions, make sure you email me the questions or ask in the community. And if it's something that I cannot answer, or don't want to answer, not cannot answer, but would like to elaborate for you, I'll either make a quick video for you if the group coaching is like a week away, or I'll save it for the group coaching and give you a nice big elaborate answer here. So today, I wanted to talk about something that came up in a private discovery call. So it's not on the podcast. I can't share it. But I want to elaborate kind of what our conversation was and how it might, you can relate it to your journey. So this specific client started to dive into health and wellness, holistic, functional stuff, and feels like it isn't working. And a lot of the times when you guys start doing this and you see improvements in other areas, but aren't, reaching your ultimate goal either naturally or with medical assistance, one of the things that you really have to look at is the prior years specifically. I mean, a lot of the time we have to go back to childhood for some of these things. But if you are using medical assistance right now, or have been using medical assistance for months upon years consistently, this is something that you have to take into consideration. And it's not true for everyone, but for the most part, it could have had and it can have been a really big impact on your body's ability to heal while you're using the holistic, natural, functional practices that we talk about here at Finding Fertility and within the course. Now, this specific client had been doing years of medical treatment. And because her body wasn't responding, they were pushing cycles. So continuing medication, even though the cycles, they wouldn't cancel the cycles. They're like, well, let's just push your body because it might get there the next month. And so this was years and years of IUIs and medication and IVFs. And she's just come off the tail end of yet another IVF, quote unquote, failing. And, I could feel her frustration, and I feel for her too, is that the things that she naturally started to put into place, she doesn't feel like they've worked. And the thing is that when you're using holistic practices, you need to give your body time to heal. This is not like I'm doing this, so my body should do this now, and I can do medical treatment on top of this. You have to remember that when you come up to trying to conceive and you start to have difficulties, and then you move almost completely into medical treatment without doing deep dives, right? Like, I know most of us now come to the plate with doing a little bit of stuff. What happens for a lot of women is that the mental, emotional, physical, financial toll of these medical treatments actually can push you further down. Remember, we talked about that fertility line. It can literally push you further down and not even realize it, because either, your doctors are telling you like, no, this isn't causing any harm, or you're not necessarily feeling worse off because you're using holistic treatments and you're kind of almost like now tipping the scales, right? You're like trying to balance. So we're trying to get at least just even. And you might be doing like a seesaw with this medical treatment that can literally push you further down, underneath your fertility line. And then like the holistic stuff you're doing is trying to bring you up. But because we didn't start from this even line, it's harder for that holistic stuff to actually quote unquote work. And it's really important that I know it sucks, but you have to slow down. You have to take a break from these medical treatments to give your body time to heal, get back up to kind of that baseline, and then use the medical treatments again. So I've had several one-to-one clients come to me, and and a lot of people within the community, just whacking their systems round after round after round, or medical treatment after medical treatment, right? IUI or IVF, or, prescription medications to help ovulation or whatever it is. And we're never giving the body the time that it needs just to get to kind of a quote unquote normal state, to get you to that fertility line. And remember, I really want to like bring home to you guys that fertility line is just like basic. And I know that that can get you to like quote unquote your two pink lines. But remember, for a lot of us now, the ultimate goal is to get our health way above that fertility line, because what that's going to do is, just decrease the chances of us and our children having health complications during pregnancy, during birth, during postpartum, and for our children's whole entire life, right? If you can set them up with a good foundation, no matter what they choose to do when they're, 18, you're like, I did the best that I could, right? This is now their journey. That's all I can do. Or even, even this, right? When my kids have like quote unquote crap, I don't have to really overthink it, because I know that I've set them up for a good baseline of health, and that their body is going to be able to manage that. And I'm not like a food allergy, right? Like I don't have to worry about any type of food allergies with my kids. The only thing that I have to really worry about is them overindulging in like E numbers and, and dyes and like high fructose sugar and stuff like that, which is a real like big thing. Like that's a fucking thing now, right? Like you have to overthink that stuff to make sure your kid doesn't eat that way, because even some of this healthy, organic stuff is still full of shit. So, when you're setting yourself up and your baby's health way above this like baseline of just like normalcy, let's just say the normal rate of people like getting and staying pregnant, you're increasing your chances of having to worry about other shit later in life. And I know that's not tangible, and I know like nothing's set in stone and you can't like control everything and all that stuff. But remember, the things that we do now is just setting ourselves up, and even setting yourselves up to have a certain lifestyle and diet, so you can bring up your children in a certain way that it's just normal. Like my like it's normal for my kids to ask. So a good example is Jello or jelly, right? In America, I can't buy them red Jello because it has red dye 40. In other countries, they don't use that, so they can get red Jello. And so my eldest son, a few weeks ago in the grocery store, grabbed the dye and he's like, check it again for me, mommy, maybe they changed it. And so we checked it and he looked, and I was like, I'm really sorry, we can't have this one. And I said, when we go to New Zealand next time, we'll check the label, and if it doesn't have it, we'll bring 10 home just so they can have this. But it gets them conscious and it gets them aware. And then it's not so much of a struggle later down the line. If something comes up, which there's, things come up it's just not as hard to quote unquote deny yourself or deny your child these things, because you know that's just not serving you and it's not. So anyways, getting back to doing rounds and rounds of fertility treatment, and maybe this is you, maybe you're like, fuck, this isn't working. Either one, the fertility treatment isn't working and the holistic care isn't working. The combination isn't working together. And one of the reasons that could be is because your baseline health is still underneath that fertility line, and you haven't given yourself that time to heal from, one, why you were having fertility issues in the first place, and then two, why all the mental, emotional, physical, and financial trauma that this can bring into your life. And so it's almost like you're stockpiling all this shit now. And as much as I know holistic and fertility health can work, it's harder for it to do when you keep whacking yourself with these treatments, that if you're not getting the mental and emotional support during it, you're not letting your body detox from the drugs. You're not letting your body recover from these things. It's harder for that holistic help to support you and get you to where you want to be. So I know it can be really frustrating. I mean, the last probably 7 people I've talked to, other than one of the ladies in the course here, it's been a really big struggle for them to even consider stopping the fertility treatment for a while to allow their bodies to heal and do what they need to do. It always comes back to that time poor mentality, that lack mentality. And that's where it's crucial for you to come in and get that mental and emotional support, that taking a break, taking a rest, taking a step back is actually going to save you time. It's going to save you money. It's going to increase your health. And another thing that we talked about in this discovery call was really being like proud of yourself when you walk away from this journey. And walking away looks very different for all of us, right? And I'm not saying that walking away means you quit or you succeed. There's just an end to the trying to conceive journey. I promise you there is an end to it. And whatever that end is for you, and this was so true in my journey, I wanted to turn around, because remember, my journey was really long and there was no guarantee. There was no one like me sitting out there like, hey, you can have children naturally, right? So I wanted to turn around and be proud of myself and not ever wonder. And so we talked about taking a step back and doing some testing and really dialing in like what you need to personally do to make sure that this next leg of your journey, if you decide to go on, if you're deciding to do another round of IVF, that you give yourself the time, you give yourself the space to really discover some of these answers that are missing, turn around, do the IVF, whatever that comes out to you, you can then turn around and look, okay, I'm proud. I can walk away from this journey knowing that I gave it my all. I did my best. I'm never going to wonder what if. I've uncovered every stone that could possibly be uncovered during my journey, right? I get a lot of, people my age who have, I just met a school mom friend, so a woman whose son is in my son's class, and she's my age, and she has this beautiful adopted son. And I said to her, I was like, oh, my first child was IVF. And she's like, really? Oh my gosh. She's like, yeah. She's like, I dealt with unexplained infertility. And I was like, oh, me too. And then I told her my journey, and she just looked at me. She's like, I wish I had this information. She's like, my journey would have been so different. I was like, yeah, I feel for you. And that's like my core mission here is just getting this information out there and you guys deciding what to do with it and being able to look back at your journey and just being proud of yourself of like, okay, I did it. I did the best that I could. This is what the universe has given me. And now I can walk on and be content, be happy, be joyful. All the things that I know I should be in my life, I deserve in my life. And this could be with a child, through IVF, IUI, naturally, adoption, egg donor, sperm donor, or living, without children. So there's very many different ways. Obviously, I'm here to support you in whatever that way is, your ultimate goal in that way, and really get you to be the healthy, conscious mamas that I know you were born to be. But you have to give yourself the time and the space, and you have to give your bodies that time and that space to be able to do these things. They're not a quick fix. They're not a round of IVF. You are not going to get the results within 30 days. And that's okay. And just know, this discovery call that I did too, I asked her age, and she's like, I'm 31, but she's been on this journey for 7 years already. And, I said to her, I was like, you're a spring chicken. I said, look, I know the journey's been long and hard, but I'm telling you right now that 31 is super young, and it doesn't feel like it when you're in the thick of it. But I'll tell you right now, when I had my first baby, at 35, 36 years old, I didn't give a shit about my age. My age did not matter one bit. And I can confidently tell you, between up to the age of 45, I mean, hell, I've had one of my best friends who I'm godmother to her child, had her child at 47. And she's the same age as my mom. So my mom is a grandma, and one of my best friends' daughter's in high school right now, and she doesn't care. And like, we put all these restrictions on our age and the time, and I've talked about this many times before, like, these are all made up stories in your head. So the story that you need to start telling yourself, so I'm going to wrap it up, is that your body needs time to heal, mentally, emotionally, physically, and sometimes financially. And you have that time. You absolutely have that time to do that. 3 to 6 months minimum. And if IVF or IUI is on the cards for you, that's perfectly okay too, because that does give you the time that if you're in your, early to mid 40s, even late 40s, that you might need that support. Or, maybe you're in your mid 30s. And I've had clients that know that they have to use IVF to get and stay pregnant within this, it gives them the chance a lot quicker. But the thing is that everyone on this journey needs the time and the space to heal. So if you have found yourself in this rat race of feeling time poor, doing these medical treatments round after round after round, and using a holistic approach during all this, just know that you're on the right step, or on the right path. You're taking the right steps. But I promise you, if you get rid of that inflammation that is potentially caused by IUI and IVF, you will take time back, and increase your health much quicker. Okay. Well, I hope this tough love was well received. I hope you guys are all having a beautiful week, and we will see you soon. Bye.